What's going on, everybody? It's Top Bets. We're checking back in after a week off for the Mexico Open because that field was not ideal to bet. But this week we are back with the Cognizant Classic. If I'm saying that wrong, I do apologize, but I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. With my main man, Bet with the Boys, aka Teaser Nation of old. We are ready to get after it. How are we feeling tonight, buddy?
Good. Mexico Open. I know a couple people that watch. Got the VIP, so went 2-0 there with a Brandon Wu placement and a Jaeger over that guy Olsen or whatever. So it was a good week. Kind of just a low key week, like you said. It was a pretty crappy field. I know you're pissed about not being on Nap. I'm kind of annoyed too for missing out as well. But congrats to him. But
yeah.
It kind of sucked because, like you said, you've been on him, so we both knew about him. It was just we didn't really pull the trigger. So,
I mean, I was shocked that he won, and I've played some top 40s and I played the top 20 in this tournament, but I was downright shocked that he won this tournament because, I mean, I would have bet Mitchell, Finau, Pendrith,
right.
Hojgaard, like he had no reason in winning it, but he absolutely played out of his mind. So kudos to Nap and all the people who rode Nap. I was on his top 20, so we did catch that. As always, round by round matchups continue to be pretty fun to bet. And if you want those, join the Discord below. We are with Dub Club, so we'll hook you up with 50% off of your first month. Just hit the description or the link in the description below. And as you guys can see, I'm rocking some Torrey Pines hats. I got two of them. And if you follow me, we went on a San Diego trip and got to play Torrey Pines, the North Course. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Let me know if you guys have played that course yourself. Ended up shooting a 103 because the rough was 2 inches thicker than it would be at tournaments, they said, because of all the rains. They couldn't cut it. And you would literally hit the ball right off the fairway and you would just lose it. You couldn't find it at all. There's one hole where you can look and you got 4 holes that you can, kind of span out and watch. And you just see everybody walking up and down the rough trying to figure out where their balls were. So the round took a little bit longer than normal, but it was an incredible experience. It's right on the water. I mean, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Have you ever played there before yet?
I want to get out there, man. I want to do Pebble and, Torrey, all those out there, but haven't played it yet. Definitely seems like a good time. So and tough. So
yeah, it was definitely tough. Like off the tee, it's not intimidating whatsoever. But you're like in your head, you're like, just don't hit the rough. Don't hit the rough. And then boom, you're in the rough. And then there's sand everywhere. So it was a good time. I got my money's worth. I'm okay with my 103. I know I put a poll out there in the Twitterverse, and basically everybody thought I was going to go over. So kudos to everybody for knowing that I suck at golf. But what we don't suck at is betting golf. So that's why you guys tuned in. Yeah. So we'll get after it with the Cognizant Classic. If you guys have tuned in on our Tuesday night stream, so we switched from Wednesday to Tuesday, and Tuesday is more of a lax feel where we kind of go through our, what our stats are that we're looking at, some attributes that we like, and then get into specific golfers, kind of bounce ideas off each other for DFS, for placements, for matchups, and outrights. So nothing is official tonight. So if you guys do want our official cards, make sure you guys are following us both on X, and make sure you guys check out the Bet with the Boys Discord. That's where you can find all the Teaser Nations, or formerly Teaser Nation, his card, and then you can find all of my matchups round by round in my Discord as well. But I always give out the placements and the outrights for free on my page. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys. So let's get into the Cognizant Classic, which was basically renamed because the Honda Classic is no longer. They dropped out as a title sponsor. So Cognizant came in, and now this is basically the same course. Was a PGA National, correct?
Yep.
All right, so let's give a little roundabout about the course, and then what kind of attributes we're looking for this week for some golfers.
Yeah, so PGA National, I think it's one of the best courses that they do throughout the year. It's just kind of never really like a big time one because it's kind of sandwiched in between April and March, which is coming up some big tournaments. So not a lot of big names guys. They kind of always skip this one, getting ready for Arnold Palmer in a couple weeks and all that. But um, they changed it this year to a par 71. I think one of the long par fours, I think it was like 510. They changed it to an easy par five. They just added 20 more yards. So in reality to par, it'll be around like 4.5 scoring, but that'll be probably one of the easiest holes on the course because it'll be kind of an automatic birdie for them. Overview of the course, it's kind of just tight landing areas, a lot of forced layups, and then it's famous for the bear trap. Those three holes at the end, kind of towards the end, coming up to 18. A lot of water around the course. And then one main thing here, which is kind of weird about a short course, is most approach play comes from 125 to 200. So you can kind of just really take out, the wedge play this week. Kind of target guys who are really great with their mid irons. Also, a lot of wind exposure here, firm conditions in Florida. So kind of got to keep that in mind. Kind of guys who play well in the wind, who flight their balls, etc., stuff like that. And then really one thing that I kind of look at since I've been doing, this golf capping for 3 to 4 years, the bogey avoidance at this course has been one of the most um, massive things to look at. I know I had Chris Kirk last year who won. He was number one in bogey avoidance coming into the week. So that was one thing that kind of stood out outside of all of the key stats. Obviously, because there's a lot of hazards, so it's pretty important avoiding bogeys or double bogeys as well. So really, just the targets, top tier ball strikers with great short game on Bermuda. So I kind of did like a player spotlight for this one. So I have one player that kind of just spotlight this week. He's probably one of the most inconsistent guys on the tour. Get a win here and there, and that's Sepp Straka.
Oh yeah.
I just outlined him a little bit just to talk about him. Loves Bermuda greens. He resides in the southern states, so obviously he's pretty familiar with it. He loves it. He leads the field here in strokes gained over the last 5 years. I think it's over 30 plus, 35 maybe to be exact. And then also he's won here, I think 2 years ago, and then he also has a second place. So that's one guy I'll probably be on in some sort of way this week. So
yeah, I was going to mention him this stream. Sepp. You very few times you get to play him with some confidence.
yeah,
And
that's
throughout
for
the year,
sure.
and this is one of them. Kind of like it was kind of like Finau last week. Like you just take his outright. He's supposed to win, but the guy just fails to win in that tournament, which blows my mind.
He's horrible, man. Finau is actually horrible right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm on board with Sepp on the DFS train. I think he's going to get steamed up even more. He's at 14% right now, and I could see that getting closer to 20% as more people get after it on Wednesday night as they clicking to put in their lineups. Let's see what he's at. 8,600, pretty good value play here. He's coming in right now at 14%, which surprises me, but he's top 10 in ownership, which is not a bad idea there. Obviously, another one that pops off is the repeating champion, Chris Kirk. Not in the greatest of form, but he's a guy that plays the course well, so he's always in play. And then Eric Cole, who right now he's the second highest golfer right next to Rory in ownership wise. And I was on him early on, and he kind of faded a little bit. So I'm curious to see how many people get back to him. That's probably what I'm going to look for the most in see how his ownership goes from tonight to tomorrow. Depending on
I think he's going to get steamed because he got second here last year.
But that, in my eyes, means let's fade him. I think we're fading him.
I agree. I think I'm going to fade him this week just because of that.
Yeah, sometimes you kind of have to look sometimes at the recent form. And I get that he's played there very well, but in terms of DFS, I think he's a great fade this week. 9,900. I mean, that's just unheard of for Eric Cole. It's just basically how weak the field is. Besides, Rory at 12.2, and then golf DFS has been a little bit different this year. So they're trying a different pricing mechanism, which is they have like 12,000 golfers in price, and then they have like as low as 5,000. So the stars and scrubs have been incredible. The builds have been that's what they want you to do. And then, to get different in those high risk lineups, make sure you guys do some balanced builds where you go mainly 9,000s, mainly 8,000s, and just get more and more steady golfers than, hope that you get that low 1% owned guy that goes off. So there's just a couple little strategies I've seen so far with the different pricing structure. I still haven't gotten used to it. It's a little bit different. So it's nice to have a little different challenge here, but I do like the fact that they're trying something different. The other guy that's the cover boy, the guy Cam Young, I think I gotta be back on him. Just overall, I mean, he's coming in at 12% on DK. He's 10-7. I think he's a great pivot off of Rory. I mean, you could basically say Cam can beat Rory straight up in this tournament. I think so. Maybe a bold statement, but I think Cam at 10-7 is a great pivot off of Rory. And just, long irons are in play here. He's 12th on the tour with his approach from, I think, 175 to 200. So it's a really, really good effort for him. And then the other guy that I like this week is Steven Jaeger, where he's top 5 with 175 to 200 out, and has been playing good golf and has played consecutive weeks of good golf. So make sure you guys get those guys in your DFS lineups. I think those are some of my pillars that I might go around, Cam Young and then Jaeger for sure. Anybody else pops out to you?
You haven't said the one guy I love this week at the top of the board, and that's good old Russ the Bus. Russ Henley.
Oh gosh.
I think he's a good pivot to Eric Cole, Young, and even Rory. He hasn't played here in 2 years, but he has a 3rd, 8th, and a 20th back to back. It's like Henley's another guy where honestly hasn't. I will double check how he's been playing. I don't know his recent form, but he's another one of those guys you kind of just like. He got a 24th at Genesis, 4th at Sony. He honestly hasn't even played that much yet, so that's a little scary. But if you look at every single like comp course, if people like looking at that, if you look at like he ticks all the boxes, like this is kind of a course to like Waialae, any like short course where he plays well in North Carolina, the Wyndham Championship, any of those you want to look at that kind of trickles into this course. So I mean, I like him this week. I think he's like a good pivot. I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet, maybe a placement or an outright, but I do like his top 20 as well.
He's played well so far. The 5 tournaments that he's played, or 4 that he's played this year, it's 52 at the Century, 4 at Sony, 58 at Pebble Beach, and then 24th at Genesis. So
it's Russ Henley. You never know, but like I like it. It's a good comp course. Good when he's played here. Good history. So
I can't complain there. I don't want to fall into this trap again and play Sungjae, but like if the guy's on, he's going to dominate this tournament. He could throw darts left and right, but he just hasn't this year. So for me right now, I'm off the Sungjae. I'm actually on someone really, really close to him in the outright odds, and I've been hesitant to play this guy. I've just kind of let him, try to see how he's been playing. But anytime a course involves good iron play, good ball striking, it's good old Corey Connors to me.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Okay.
I went. He's not great here, but he's played back in 2018 and 2020, and he's got a 59th and a missed cut. However, his recent form pretty damn well, where 33rd, 57th, 31st, 28th, and 24th. So he's rounding out, but his elite ball striking, basically his iron play from deep I do like him again this week. So I think he's top 20 in that distance as well. Yeah, he's top 20 there. So don't mind him, as well as another pillar for DFS lineups. He's a little bit under owned. I think he's coming in like 11%. Where'd you think I was going with that one?
I personally thought I'll talk about this guy because people were hammering him. He opened up 35-1 to start the week. Now he's 30-1.
Oh boy.
And that's Matt Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I did look at him. I did see him.
That's where I thought
he's at 28-1 now.
Yeah, now he's 28 on some DK. I just saw
Yep.
some locals around that number. But yeah, surprised he was at 35. A lot of people were, so I guess that's why he kind of got steamed down.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't think he's gonna win. He hasn't played here before, he's one of those guys this year. He's kind of been on and off. Like he's had a couple. You see him on the top of the leaderboard, and he kind of just fades a little bit on the weekend. So I don't know. He hasn't really put 4 good rounds together yet this year. Just one guy that comes to mind when you think about you need mid irons and trajectory with wind, stuff like that. That's one guy that kind of comes to mind. And I don't hate the number. That would be an outright I would bet just because of the number. I think he probably should be low 20s, maybe even high teens. Honestly, I don't know why Eric Cole's more of a favorite than Matt Fitzpatrick. It's kind of weird to me, but
that threw me off too. But Fitzpatrick has been not that great this year. Not that great at all.
Yeah, maybe I'm just putting a lot on his name, but
So moving on to the top 20 market. So the top 20 market to me screams tons of value this week.
Yep.
And I'm probably going to have a good portion of my units to the top 20. Yeah. One guy, I mean, Corey Connors obviously played him plus 180. I like that. Jaeger plus 190. I'm good with that. Chris Kirk at plus 200 is a good one.
There's so many people right there.
Yeah,
and there's 7 190s that you could love.
Mm-hmm. And the one guy I did not mention for an outright, but I do think I will be on this guy because I'm used to him being super heavily on early on this season. Everyone wanted a piece of this guy, and he burned so many people, and I'm going back to him. And that is Min-Woo Lee. Min-Woo Lee, 6% owned right now on DK, 9,600 because he's right up there with, let me see where exactly he's at. Yeah, he's right up there with Poston and Sungjae and Byung on Chris Kirk. I mean, he's getting forgotten about right there. Mm-hmm. And DFS, great play for me is Min-Woo Lee, and I'll probably take his top 20 at plus 170. Ball striker, again, elite. He should be there. But, I mean, he 21st at the Amex, 43rd at the Farmers, and then 71st at Phoenix. So he's gotten burned. And, I mean, he was bad at the Phoenix Open. I mean, he minus 4.8 strokes gained total.
Yeah.
I mean, real bad. Yep. But we've seen him be very, very good down the, and then he does have a 26 here from last year. So I think he's a good pivot play and a good value play here for this tournament. Anybody else stick out to you?
Obviously, Henley's one. I like the value there at plus 130. Already talked about Strzok at plus 190. I love him in a matchup, which we'll talk about later. I think I'm going to eye him in a matchup, which I don't really get why he's matched up with this person. But there's 2 guys that I don't know what to do with this week, and they're right there at that 190 number, and it's Berger and Shane Lowry.
Oh, Lowry, man. Oh,
he plays amazing here. Like, it's weird. He has a 5th, a 2nd, a 36th, and a 21st. I don't know what it is. He just likes his place. I guess it just really nullifies the putting. You don't really need it. And then Berger here too. I think I was on him a couple years ago. He didn't play last year because of the injury, but a 4th, and a 36. So honestly, and everyone was like, kind of, what's he done lately? I think he's been like pretty decent coming off. He hasn't played for like a year and a half, and he has a 28th miscut, 39th miscut. So I guess not that great, but I mean, that's good for not playing for a year and a half, I would say. So,
right.
Yeah, that's a couple guys I'm not sure kind of what to do with yet, but we'll see on that one.
I will definitely back you up with not knowing what to do with them. It's that's a tough call. Well, I mean, are you going to go back to Jake Knapp at all? You gonna go back to
Nah,
the
I don't think I
there?
will. I don't think this course really
Yeah,
fits him.
you should. I mean, I was watching this Sunday, and some of those. I mean, he would like just miss hit his irons, and luckily he was not going up against the greatest of competition. So
Right.
he got through with it. But yeah, I wasn't too sure about that iron play from him. And
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I do want to say one
McIntyre.
guy for a long shot.
Oh, here.
Uh,
Well, I'll say a couple of mine. Like
okay.
McIntyre is intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hodges has got a good record here.
Yeah.
Sam Ryder's got good records here.
Yep.
I'll still go with Swamp Ass Lucas Glover
Yeah.
because he can get it done. He can have those good ball strike. And I don't know what his. Well, let me look at his course history real quick on it. But just a guy that could keep it around and maybe sneak in like a top 40 or so. Don't take these guys outrights at all.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, he's got a pretty good record here. I mean, 21st, 17th, 4th, miscut, 19th, 30th. Top 40 bet right there ain't bad for Swamp Ass, aka Lucas Glover. If this is your first time watching this stream.
Yeah.
Who's your long shot?
I was gonna say Billy Horschel, 4-1 top 20. Oh Lord.
I can't get behind Billy ever. I just can't.
It's time. It's the Florida swing, man.
Florida, yeah, that's true. Yep.
But he is a 42nd here, 16th, 42nd, 16th. I mean, there's another guy. It's like Sepp Straka, but a little poor man Sepp Straka at the moment. You don't know what to do with him. I'm not saying bet him. I'm just saying that's one guy I think you could see potentially at the top of the leaderboard. I'm not saying he's going to win. 4-1 on a top 20 is interesting. Maybe a top 40 at most. I would say is the
what
safest
is the top 40? Let me see.
I mean, I would assume close to 2-1, right?
I got to scroll a little while.
Yeah, I would say 2-1, something like that. 150, 140.
150. Okay. All right. So a couple other guys that I could get on that I haven't necessarily dove into just yet. But Denny McCarthy is intriguing. Justin Rose, don't sleep on Justin Rose. He he can play with the best of them, obviously. And then my man Keith Mitchell that snuck in for us late last week. But man, that start scared the living hell out of me. I was like, really, Keith, you're going to go +4 in your first 5 holes and just ruin my outright, ruin my top 20. And then he stormers back, gets my top 20, gets a nice positive card for us. But man, I was sweating the Keith Mitchell, but I think I'm going back to the visor this week. I think he's in play once again. Let me see his course history real quick. Anybody else you're looking at?
That's kind of all I had outlining those guys. I mean, Chris Kirk, we talked about, would be solid play. Obviously, he plays well here. Great at bogey avoidance. That's kind of it for me. Really, just highlighting those guys. I think I'm going to be more towards, especially in the placement, more towards the top of the market with obviously I'm going to go Henley for sure. But then I'm going to be in that 180 to 200 range. I think that's where you're going to kind of make money this week. So
yeah, I'm debating if I'll have a top 40 card. I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to go with the outrights in the top 20s again.
Right.
But unless somebody just stands out drastically top 40 wise. But Keith Mitchell, here we go. So he's won this back in 19 and then miscut in 20, classic. Then 53rd and then 9th. So we'll see. I think he's a good top 20 bet. Maybe I go back to him this week. Maybe I go back to his outright. We'll see. But I really, really like the outrights. I think there's good value at this tournament because one guy we have not talked about, it was obviously the front runner, is Rory plus 650. And I mean, what are your thoughts on Rory this week? Just like fade him completely, no good value, obviously betting outright. But what do you think?
I mean, he's never even played here, but like, yeah, there's no value in the outright. I don't think he's going to win either. He's not really playing that great right now. There's no reason you should take a 650 on Rory to win a tournament he's never played in. So that's my take on it. Obviously, he's going to be heavily favored in a matchup with anyone.
Right.
I don't think I would really take anyone over him. I haven't checked any tournament matchups with Rory. I don't even know if they're going to put anyone with him, but Russell Henley plus 180 over Rory tournament.
Wow.
I don't know if I would go that far, but
yeah, that's
I do
tough.
like Russ.
But no, I'm right there with you with Rory. Kind of different than it was last week because I was saying play Finau, play Finau, play Finau. Don't overthink it. But Rory's known to just miss cuts left and right, and I think he is not as sure of a bet as DraftKings priced him at 12.2 or DraftKings having a plus 650. So I would tend to just fade him completely, especially if you're playing high risk lineups. If you're playing cash games or whatnot, obviously you can play him. That's no big deal there. But he's going to be the highest owned golfer, and if you do play him in high risk, make sure you have a good stars and scrubs lineup where you got to hit your scrubs, got to hit them. But yeah, overall, I'm probably fading him completely. Let's see what his round one matchup is. Let's see group matchups for round one. I don't even see him yet.
I don't know when. Oh, he's with Knapp, Kirk, and McIlroy. Kirk is plus 160 and Knapp is plus 180.
See, that's pretty good though. I mean, I don't know if I'd take
Kirk over Rory. I don't even mind that round one plus Kirk? 160.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Okay, I see it now.
I actually don't even hate that at all.
I think the Kirk over Knapp is a great one. Minus 130. I think. I mean, a little juice. But
yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think Knapp will have like a little lapse. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I actually really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move. So we're moving on to some matchups here. We got a comment. What we got here? Mike Douglas, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. He says thoughts on Ben Griffin. You know what? Ben Griffin has been like, I honestly just don't even get to him ever. But now that you're saying that, I'm gonna look into him. What do you think, Teaser?
I think he's another guy who I believe he's pretty good on Bermuda greens as well. He's kind of one of those guys, kind of goes low at some points. I think last year, what do you have, a T21 I'm looking at, gained 6 strokes total. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate him here. I would probably want to take a flyer on him, top 20, maybe a top 40 as well.
Fantastic DFS play. He's 6,800 on DraftKings, sub 5% play. Not a bad idea here to get with a cheaper play here in Ben Griffin, tie for 21. He's just always someone that I just don't. I guess I just glance over, and maybe that's a fault on my end. But yeah, it's just somebody I just don't get to very often.
I don't. I'm looking into his recents right now though, and it kind of alarms me that although it's weird that it looks like he's gaining around the green putting, which is good. Genesis, he got a 37th approach, -3. So his last 6 events, strokes gain approach, -3, -0.3, -0.6, -0.3, -4, -4. So that's pretty scary right there at a course like this where you're going to need a kind of ball strike. That kind of alarms me that he's losing strokes on approach his last 6 events, and off the tee as well. He's losing on his last 4 events. So he's really just saving himself around the greens, which is kind of scary here. But, I don't hate him, but that kind of alarms me. That for me personally, just looking at those stats out, that would be a fade for me.
Like it. Good with that. But I think you play him in DFS. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Usually I don't talk DFS, but that's fine.
And if you want to take a flyer, maybe go top 40. So great question there on Ben Griffin. We got Peyton. What's up, buddy? Says, sup, guys? Thoughts on Poston and Pavon? Is it Pavon or Pavon? I always mispronounce guys' names. 2 of the top in bogey avoidance in the field, which is a very key stat this week. So Very good question here. What do you think, Teaser?
Yeah. So I didn't do a model yet. I was going to put that in, but if they are top, that's interesting. Poston really hasn't played well here, which is kind of surprising.
But he's been playing. I think he's been playing fantastic golf, though.
He hasn't played well here, but he's been playing good. Yeah, I don't mind Poston. I've seen a couple people on him. I don't hate him at all this week. I obviously would be more comfortable in him than Pavon. I wouldn't put too much in the bogey avoidance into Pavon because we haven't seen much of him. Obviously, that's going to be a little flawed, the number, because he's won. And we really only have like a small sample size of Pavon. So I wouldn't really put too much into that. And we haven't really seen him here either. So
yeah,
I do like Poston. So yeah, I would definitely pick Poston. I kind of would stay away from Pavon because I don't really know too much about him still.
I think I'm right there with you with Poston. But like I said before, with DFS, if you're playing that end, you got Minwoo Lee right next to Poston. I think I would prefer to pivot to the lower owned Minwoo Lee than Poston. Pavon, let's see where he's at. He's at 8,700 at 11%. So I mean, he's a good value play. Yeah, 87. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just one of those value plays that you're probably going to play with Pavon. And then I know that bogey avoidance is a big key, but also if you're playing DFS, we got to shoot low. So, if they're parring, it doesn't help too much there. So you're gonna have to score low here. I think the birdie score is or the winning score is gonna be in between that 10 to 14 under range.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I agree.
I think if you're right there, I get it, avoiding some bogeys, but let's make some birdies along with it, especially with that the easier par 5 that they made as well. So good questions. If you guys have any other ones, let us know. We'll be here probably another 5 minutes. We're gonna just quickly go over some matchups that we like. The other one that I saw right off the bat was, it's a little bit juicy, but I mean, Corey Connors over Billy or Corey Connors over Matt Wallace, but it's minus 155 and minus 150. So if you want to parlay that with somebody else that we might, maybe a Keith Mitchell over Chad Ramey or something like that as a good little parlay, or Lowry over, oh no, wow, Lowry and Pavon. That's a pretty good matchup there. But Lowry's minus 125. So I like this. What's up?
Lowry's minus 125 over Pavon round 1.
Yeah, round 1.
What the?
Which it kind of surprised me, but and then there you go. Let's pair Corey Connors and Cam Young together. That's I think that's a pretty good one.
Wait, can you parlay on DraftKings those?
Yeah, it's nice. I do it all the time.
Let me parlay it.
Really?
Yeah, if you do a single round 1, I did try to do Kirk, and then I like Cam Young over Dunlap, and they wouldn't let me parlay those.
I've been doing it left and right.
Huh.
Maybe they limited you because you're so good.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Jaeger over Dietrich. I'm cool with that. Minus 140. Let's see. Anything else pop out to me round 1? Wow, Minwoo Lee minus 130 over Denny McCarthy. That's pretty telling. I like Minwoo this week, so I like the fact that he's heavily favored there in that matchup. What do you think about Hoagie this week? Any love for him?
No, I don't think he plays well here. I don't like him this week.
All right, you heard it here. If he's not on Hoagie, you do not play him. You're on.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on him. I will say one tournament matchup I really love. What I was going to come back to is Straka minus 115 over Bo Hostler. Don't know why that's a matchup, but I love it.
That's a tournament matchup, right?
Yeah, for the whole tournament. Yeah.
Wow. Sepp is minus 135 over Ricky, plus 110, and then you got Sepp and Sung Jae basically dead even, minus 110 each.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty fair.
Yeah. But no, I think my favorite right now is Chris Kirk over.
I love that. Yeah.
Over Knapp, I think with the good old hangover from the win.
Yep, I agree.
Anything else you want to discuss? We've had some pretty good discussion here about this one. And then if you guys do have any other questions, let us know, and we'll stick around and answer them. If not, if you think of them after the stream and you're watching the replay, hit us up in the Discord. So just join the link below. Anything else you want to highlight?
No, I think we did a good job covering it. Yeah, just be on the lookout for our cards. I have my Discord in my bio. Let me know if you guys want VIP this week. Been on a little heater as of late, so trying to keep that rolling throughout the next couple months.
I forgot. Here, let's do the one and done. Who would you pick right now for a one and done?
Obviously not finalized yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards. I've been horrendous at one and done this year, like horribly.
I'm middle of the pack right now. I need to figure it out. I need to get some winners.
I'm gonna try. Honestly, I don't know where else I would use this guy besides the Wyndham, and that's Russell Henley. So that would be one of my guys.
Yeah.
I could honestly go him. I haven't used Chris Kirk, another guy. So I would probably stick with those two guys, I would say. I don't think Henley will be heavily owned, so I might try to go him and hope he like pulls a top 5 or a win out. So
yeah, I obviously if you're playing one and dones, Rory is going to be heavily owned. I would assume, but I think right now my eyes are more towards Cam Young to have a good weekend here. So I think it is risky, and but I just like the fact like the where he's at, and I think that's a pretty good safe bet. I would second Russell Henley if you want to go that route, and then maybe Minwoo Lee. I think he might be in play for a one and done. I think I'm gonna sprinkle that outright. I feel like I've talked myself into it. So, but yeah, so that's the one and done. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We went through some outrights, some placements, some matchups, and the one and done. So we'll be back next week. What do we got? What's the tournament next week? Is it the Arnold Palmer, right?
No, I think next week's the Puerto Rico Open, so it's not very good. And then Arnold Palmer's the next week, I believe, and then it's Sawgrass.
Oh, okay.
So we got kind of a dull one next week, probably even worse than the Mexico Open. Honestly, it's going to be, and then 2 good ones in a row there.
Let's say before you know it, the players are here, and we're getting after it.
I'll be down there, boots on the ground. So.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, I'm going down there.
We have intel on the ground. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna make tons of money that weekend.
100%. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get up on out of here, and we'll see you guys next week. See you guys.